welcome to World. It's your boy Jerome. I'm back today with the review for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Season 7, Episode 8, and this episode was titled Tokyo Insanity. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So, we start this episode out with Mama D. Mama D, he got some flowers from somebody, and she hears the doorbell ringing. She goes to the doorbell. She's dressed what she calls sexy. And when she opens the door, she just sees a big set of balloons, and then the balloons come down, and it's Scrappy. Scrappy is back in Atlanta. So Mama D was surprised to see Scrappy because of the way she's dressed. And then Scrappy was like, "Who was she expecting?" She was talking about she was expecting Nurse Bay and all that kind of stuff. And then they go have a seat, and then Mama D is just talking to Scrappy about the whole Ernest thing, and how Ernest wants to come back home to be with her, and how he does. She was talking last week about his drug problem, and then this week she's telling us that he's saying that he doesn't need rehab to kick his habit. But as old as Ernest is, no shade to his age or anything, but I think Ernest does need rehab because at this point in his life, it would be harder for him to get off of drugs than it would be for somebody my age to get off of drugs. So I hope that Ernest seeks the help that he needs. And then, Mama D and Scrappy just sitting down talking. And, Scrappy's letting Mama D know that he is back in Atlanta. He and Bambi. And then he also lets Mama D know that they are, in fact, anticipating another baby. And, Mama D is so happy about that and all that stuff. And then, Scrappy is telling her that, it needs to be a secret between, he and her. But I'm like, Scrappy, you know your mama better than anybody that your mama can't hold no fucking water. So I don't know why you sitting here telling Mama D to keep a secret. And I'm actually happy for Bambi and Scrappy. I'm really happy for him because, when he went to Love and Hip Hop Miami, he was down there chasing Francine Frensky, old buckethead ass. So I'm happy that he, went on his campaign to get the Bam back. And I'm happy that he got the Bam back. And I'm happy that he and the Bam are having a baby. So I am really happy for those two. And then true to Mama D fashion, Mama D pulls some shit with Scrappy, telling him that he and Bambi are pregnant. So, Scrappy and Bambi are in the car. And, they talking about, everything, how they happy to be back in Atlanta, all this stuff. And then, Scrappy lets Bambi know that he told Stevie J about her being pregnant. And she kind of let that go. Then he said Jock. And then she was like, "But I thought you said Stevie." And then he said, "Yeah, but Jock was there," and all that kind of stuff. And then she was like, "Well, who else did you tell?" And then she was like, "He told his mama." And then she was like, "The same thing I just said, your mama can't hold water." So, while they're in the car, Bambi is actually going to have dinner with Mama D. And I'm like, what kind of dinner is she having with Mama D? But, she gets to get there to where she's having dinner with Mama D. And then you have Rashida and Tammy sitting there. I'm like, oh shit, here we go with this. Mama D finna spill the fucking beans. So, Bambi walks in, sits down, and then, Mama D pulls out this gift bag that has baby clothes in it. And then I think it was Tammy that asked Mama D, did Ernest knock her up? I'm sitting here like, Tammy, girl, you know you lying. Like, what the fuck? Mama D ain't even got no eggs at this point of her life. Like, what the fuck Ernest gonna knock up? Like, a wall? But, she says, nah, that chocolate factory is closed, which I'm like, we all know that chocolate factory has been since closed. That chocolate factory is dried up. No offense to Mama D, I love Mama D, but it's all jokes. So, when Mama D said that, Bambi went ahead and admitted that she is, in fact, pregnant. She also lets us know that she is 4 months pregnant. So, like I said, I'm happy for these two, and I hope things work out for them and that other baby mama, Erica. Like, what is going on with her? The last thing I saw from Erica was that she graduated from college, which is a good thing for her, but that's going to be some interesting shit because the last time I saw anything with Bambi and Erica on social media, those two were going back and forth with each other. So I hope that they can all come together and be a big blended family because they are, regardless of how, Bambi and Erica feel about each other, they're going to have to be a family for these kids. So good luck to them in the future with that. All right, so next we get Tokyo, Vanity, and Tobias in the studio. Tokyo was trying to figure out, what song she wants to perform at her album release party. So while they're sitting there, in walks Blue Da Vinci, and then Blue when Blue sat down, Tokyo went on to tell him about how she met up with his baby mama Keely, and she went over the whole thing that's happened between her and Keely, about Keely talking about Tobias and Carla Red going on a double date, which was messy as fuck, and it didn't have nothing to do with her. If you see a nigga with another bitch, why you gonna bring up him going on a double date with another bitch that's sitting right there? Like, you clearly see that they together. And Keely is a messy ass old bitch. So, while they sitting there, uh, Tokyo told Blue Da Vinci that Keely was actually dating K Bachi. And, I was, pretty cool with that because the whole thing was he wasn't even upset about her dating Kate Botch or nothing like that. Blue Da Vinci's thing is that the fact that he hasn't saw his son, and then he's been in Miami, and he just want to see his child, which I can respect that. I commend that and all that stuff. If his baby mama is being a bitch and trying to keep him away from the child, then that's fucked up on her part. And but I mean, look at it. It's Keely. She's a fucked up ass person. So I believe everything that he says. And then Blue just asked Tobias why come he didn't tell anything when they were at Jock's event. And he just said basically he was like that when he didn't feel like there was a time or a place for him to do that. So and I can respect that, and I respect Blue because he didn't get upset and he didn't be like, oh fuck that nigga, why that nigga didn't tell me he was with my girl and all that kind of stuff. Well, my with her around my son. I respect Blue for that. So kudos to him for that, and I really hope that. I mean, he got a long road. He got a lot with this crazy ass bitch to deal with. I feel bad for that nigga, even having a child with so messy ass, stupid ass bitch. And then we get this scene where Tokyo and Tobias are meeting up at the park. So Tokyo's whole thing was that when she went out of town to do some business, one of her homies hit her up to let her know that Tobias had met up with some female. So, like I said, they met up at the park, and then Tokyo gets there and she asking him who was the bitch that he was with. And, he said he was with an ex-girlfriend that had just lost her grandfather or somebody like that. But Tokyo's thing was she didn't give a fuck who the bitch had lost. She's like, was that your grandpa? He said no. And he was talking about he loved her. And I'm like, oh, shit, did you just say you love that girl? Like, that's a big bitch. Like, if she hit you, she gonna knock your little skinny ass out completely. And, they were arguing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And, I don't know whose side I was on with this one because, I mean, I can see Tokyo's side, but I can also see Tobias' side. Like, that was his ex-girlfriend, but it's teeter-tottering, but, that was how the episode ended. But, that's a fucked up situation to be put in. Your girl coming at you because you were with your ex-girl who lost her grandfather. It's a lose-lose situation all the way around with him, pretty much. So next we get Keely and Kay Bachi at this rented ass office space that Mona rented out for them to just film for a few hours. So, Bachi walks in, Keely's sitting behind the desk. I'm like, bitch, are you trying to pretend like you some boss bitch or something like that? Because you're actually a bum bitch. So, Bachi sits down with Keely and, he's upset with her because, she didn't tell him who her baby daddy was. Now, I really, really hate to agree with this stupid ass bitch, but she made a valid point. Like, you've been with her for, I don't even know if she said how long they had been together, but you've been with her. You ain't even thought to ask her who her baby daddy was, my nigga. Like, come on. But you want to come at her and be all upset and pissed off at her. He does have a right to be mad at her because she didn't offer the information, but in the same token, he didn't ask what her baby daddy was. Like, how you gonna be around a woman that has a child, and I don't know how often you are with her and the child, but you don't even mention like who your baby daddy is. That's just some crazy ass foul shit to me. Like, I can't even fathom that kind of shit, but whatever. So, they arguing, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with each other about this whole situation. And then, Bachi tells Keely about, him having Tokyo's album release party, and this nigga basically just told her, "Don't show up." I'm like, God damn, you just here and told your bitch literally don't come. But I mean, at that point, I guess he was just like saying fuck her and fed up with the bitch, which he should have been fed up with that bitch a long time ago, with her being in everybody else's business but his and hers. But we'll get to that a little later. Okay, so next you get this scene where Stevie J, Jock, and Scrappy are all out playing golf. So, once Scrappy gets there, he lets them know that he's back in the A for good. And then he also tells them that he and Bambi are having a baby. And, they all happy about that. So, Jock is letting everybody know that he is doing a new business venture. They thinking it's a strip club, but nah, this nigga is actually doing a hair salon. And Scrap and I were pretty much saying the same thing, thinking the same thing. Like, the only reason why Jock is probably doing this hair salon thing is so that he can get, closer to women. But, moving on from that, they talk about Stevie J and Estelita. And I don't even want to give that too much light because I'm so sick of Stevie J and Estelita because this is Stevie J and Jocelyn repeated season 7. So we're just going to move right on past Stevie J's thing. And so, Jock was telling them that, he felt like all three of them should do some music together. Now, when I was watching it, I was going to shade the shit out of them, talking about nobody want to hear no music from their asses. But thinking back, I'm thinking about it, I would like to hear some music from Jock and Scrappy. Because, I mean, when I go to the gym and listen to my Pandora, sometimes it's going down, come on. And I'm like, and I still jam to that shit like I did in 2006. So I would actually be here for a song between Scrappy and Jock. So if they do it, cool. If not, it is what it is. So next we get this thing with Jessica Dime. She's at home. I think she said that Sean. Well, she said Sean is back on the road. I think she said Sean was in Iowa. I can't remember, but Sean told her to expect a special guest. She's not sure who this special guest is. So when the doorbell rings, she goes to the doorbell and answers the door, and it was her mother there. So Dime was like, with her being pregnant, she doesn't need any added stress, and she feels like her mom is going to be some added stress. So, they just sit down and they start talking about everything. And Dom's whole thing was, her and her mom have had an off and on relationship since she was a teenager when her mom sent her away to juvie. And she said they hadn't really spoken in the last year or so. And it was more so when she went to New York to film the reunion last year when she told everybody that her mom sent her to juvie. And, her mom was just sitting there listening to what she was saying. And her mom was like, it's been 2 decades that they've had this back and forth relationship with each other. And I really felt bad for Jessica Dime when her mama said that they had that back and forth relationship for 20 years. Like I can kind of sympathize with Jessica because I actually know what Jessica's going through because I am in the same situation where my birth mother, she and I have no relationship with each other at all. We've tried to have one, work things out, but every time we try to work it out, it always fizzles and burns. So, Jessica's mom was like, when Jessica went to start stripping, she was kind of worried about her. And then, she was telling her Jessica will understand one day once she has kids of her own. And then that was when Jessica told her that she's pregnant. And then her mom just told her how proud of her she was and all that kind of stuff. And that was really a sweet, touching scene. Like, I hope that, everything works out perfectly for her mom, and Sean. Because, like Sean said, it takes a village to raise a baby. And Jessica is going to need all the support that she can get if Sean is to go back on the road doing basketball. So, like I said, I really hope that this works out between Jessica and her mom. And now we get to the best part of the fucking show, which is Tokyo Bandy's album release party. So, like I said earlier, K Bachi was having this at his club. So, we get there, we see Tokyo performing her songs, and I'm kind of feeling Tokyo songs, and I love listening to Tokyo Bandy. I was about to call her Tokyo Tony. Tokyo Bandy, I love hearing her talk. Like, she reminds me of my boo Bondi Blue, Brittany Bondi Blue. Like, I love her, love that New Orleans accent and all that stuff. So you have Carly Red there, you got Sean Garrett there, you got Young Jock there, and you got K Bachi there. So they are all sitting down. What really fucking annoyed me with this scene, this particular part of this episode right here, was when, they were all sitting down and Jock was being nice and speaking to Carly. And then this old bird ass bitch sitting there talking about, why is Jock even speaking to me? My man is sitting right here beside me. I'm like, you bird ass bitch, the nigga just speaking to you. Just say hi and keep it moving, you bird. Like, oh, what the fuck? So, while they all sitting there, Blue Da Vinci actually walks in, and he sits down, and Blue Da Vinci just wanted to sit and have a conversation with K Bachi, and this was a cool ass conversation. It wasn't no hooping and hollering and oh you with my ex, you with my baby mom and all this kind of shit. I don't respect you, my nigga, and all that kind of stuff. It was actually a real decent conversation. You know, Blue Da Vinci let him know that he ain't got no issue with him being Keely. You know, he's a cool, and I respected that whole scene because, like I said, it just went on there to hoop and holler and all that kind of, I want to fight you. You with her. You around my son. I don't know nothing about you. They were cool and they kept it mature and stuff. So they go back and sit with the rest of the people, and then this one, Keely bring her oh, she bring her ass in here, and she bring her girl Deej in there with her shooters girl. So they sit down and all that kind of stuff, and she's being messy with Carly Red and Tobias, which I'm like, what the fuck, girl? Like, sit your ass, just sit there and have fun. But her whole reason it was coming there was because Kay Bachi told her not to come to the event, so she was like she's gonna show him and just show up with her friend. But little did she know that shit blew up in her face. So when she walks in, she saw all everybody sitting there, but she was not expecting to see Blue Da Vinci. So her and Blue Da Vinci go to the side and they start talking to each other. And Blue Da Vinci's whole thing is the nigga just want to see his child, but this old ignorant ass, dumb ass bitch, she don't want him around his son because he had a girlfriend that was a stripper. I'm like, what the fuck that got to do with anything? Like, just because the girl's a stripper, what do you think she gonna do? Have your baby in a strip club, taking his clothes off or some shit? Like, girl, you a ignorant asshole bitch. So, they start finish talking. The whole thing was he wanted to sit down and have a conversation with her since he's in Atlanta. So, they go sit down. And then, Sierra comes in. And Sierra brings her girl Crystal in there with her. And, she was like, she introduced Crystal as Kay Bachi's girl. And Keita was like, Kay Bachi's girl, I'm supposed to be his girl. Obviously not, bitch. She got another bitch and it ain't you. Like, I was so living for that scene. So, what's that bitch? Keely. That stupid bitch, she thinks she had one up on Sierra. She's like, oh, well, this is Shooter's girl. And then Sierra was like, who is Shooter? Who? Who is Shooter? And then, she said that nigga, there's something. All I know was Sierra clocked her hand back with that big ass duffel bag and knocked the dog shit out of that bitch Keely. And I was here for that shit. Like, that's what you get, you raggedy ass bitch. And then, security was sitting there trying to break it up. And if anybody noticed, when the security broke it up and Keely got back up, bitch had a big ass ball spot right here. And then this bitch sitting here on Twitter talking about, if anybody got a question about her hair, at her hairstylist. And then if you go look at her hairstylist tweet, her hairstylist talking about, what ball spot? Bitch, that big ass plug that was in the top of her head, that ball spot, bitch. Like, I was so here for her getting her ass knocked the flying fuck out with that big ass purse. Like, that's what you get, bitch. Like K Bachi said, well, we'll get to that in just a few minutes. So next we get the aftermath of the whole party. So, we got Shooter, you got Jock, you got K Bachi, and you got Blue Da Vinci, them all there. Shooter was not there, and then Blue Da Vinci left before all the melee happened. So, Jock whole thing was, Shooter missed out on all that stuff. So, Jock asked BK, not BK, K Bachi, about the whole thing about Crystal being his girl. He said yes, that Crystal was his girl, and he was talking about Keely is not his girl no more. That instead of her worrying about him, she was so busy focused on Shooter and his business, which is true. The bitch was always in Shooter's business, and it just begs the question, like, bitch, are you fucking him or something? Like, cause you all up on this nigga's dick and all this kind of stuff, and I just never understood why she was so focused and so fixated on anything. And then you also have the girls over at, I guess that was Carly Red's store that they were at. You had Tokyo Vanity, you had Sierra, and you had Carly Red, and then they were joined by Crystal. So, Sierra's whole thing is, that took her out of character. But I'm like, girl, I don't give a fuck if it's out of character because I was living for that moment when you knocked the shit out of that bitch. Like, I was living for it. So, don't even worry about how people perceive you right now because everybody was on your side on Twitter and nobody was on Keely's side. So, kudos to you, bitch, for knocking the shit out that hoe. And then, like I said, Crystal was there. So, they were asking Crystal what the whole situation between her and K Bachi was. And she was like, they just have an on and off again relationship with each other. And I'm like, well, I'm hoping it's on and it's off with Keely. Like, you get what's coming to you, bitch, and it's about damn time. Like, I was living for that, like living for it. Like, I kept fast forwarding that shit just to watch it. Like, girl, seeing her get hit with that fucking purse was funny as shit. Maybe next time she'll mind her own motherfucking business instead of other people's business. And then lastly, we got Carly Rae and Sean Garrett. So Sean Garrett's thing was he was upset with, the whole thing that happened at Tokyo's party. He doesn't like the whole messy side of Carly Rae. And, so like I said, he's meeting up with her at her store Mercy, which I didn't know that shit was still open, but kudos to you, Carl. If that shit is still open and profiting and all that kind of shit, kudos to you, my nigga. So, he comes in, talks to her, and tells her how he felt about everything. And actually, while he was at the party, because when everything was happening, he was upset with her at the party because she was going off on Jock, and Jock ain't did shit to her. So, he comes in talking to her about everything. And, he was basically just telling her that, it was basically childish of her what she was doing. So her whole thing was, since Keely was coming at her friends and all that kind of stuff, she had to come back at her and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, Carly, and Shauna and I said the same thing. Like, how old are you? No, like, really, how old are you? Because you too old to be doing this shit that she be doing. I don't know how much more to pay you, but it can't be that much to make yourself look that stupid and juvenile and ignorant. So, while they sitting there talking, she's asking him about the status of their relationship and talking about she wanted a ring on her finger. I'm like, oh, he and I said the same thing, a ring on your finger. I'm like, Carla Red, the closest thing you're going to get to a ring on your finger is going to be a ring pop or then one of them rings at the 25-cent machine. Because you do this with every nigga that you have on every season. You want a ring from them. Just settle down with a ring pop or one of them 25-cent ring that'll turn your finger green. Because that's all you're going to get. Because I don't see Sean Garrett being with you. Like, when you come back next season, you and Sean Garrett probably won't even be together once the reunion films. And then next season, you're going to come back with another nigga. Like, get the fuck out of here, Carly. So, that was Love and Hip Hop. If you would, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video. And I will see you guys later.